Dokkan Battle has just recently left their 10th anniversary. 10 is a major milestone, a decade of Dokkan Battle. But you guys know, legends first. And coming out of that anniversary, it made me think of the quality aspects of the game. Dokkan Battle is a major Dragon Ball game. Whether it's to your liking or not, it has an audience, which tells you that it's good enough of a game. So it made me think, what could Legends do that Dokkan does? If you guys don't know, Legends wouldn't exist if Dokkan Battle didn't exist. So in a way, Legends is expanding on the factors that Dokkan Battle can't integrate. But there are major similarities, and as of recent, we already see they're upgrading kits to make them easier to comprehend, similar to how Dokkan Battle writes down their kits. So I'm going to be putting out 5 things that I think Legends could learn from Dokkan Battle. I've only really started playing this year in the 10th anniversary for Dokkan, even though I've had the game for about 3, but I've just been logging in and summoning. But there are some cool aspects that I really want to point out, which I'm going to do right now. So the first one, I think it's a no-brainer, and I'm expecting this year in the 7th anniversary, since Dragon Ball Legends have already announced the fact that they're going to be having a major update. They've already gone ahead with some things, but this one here is a must-have. Every single time there's a new type of update, celebration, anniversary, festival, everybody's expecting this. New summon animations. Now, Legends need to get in their bag. Dokkan Battle, every single anniversary, every single, worldwide download celebration, WWDC. Dokkan Battle is bringing a new summon animation. It might be the same old, but it's a new character with a different sprite, and that's enough. Just the fact that it's different, it pops out, it shines, it makes you feel like you're playing something new. It's refreshing. But seeing the same green skies, because we all know we're all getting shafted. They're not giving you no blue skies, no space black skies. You're dealing with the same green skies, no pods, maybe 3 if you're lucky, and that's it. We need new animations. Jokes aside, I'm really tired of the Broly animation, seeing Vegito and Broly, and I'm a Vegito strongest soldier type guy. Hey, we need some more. I'm also tired of seeing Dragon Fist, that Spirit Bomb. The Nimbus Cloud is alright, I'm not gonna lie, I like it. I do like the Super Saiyan Bardock animation, but Trunks, please go to hell, especially on LL banners when you get the 1% sparking. Please. Legends, upgrade your summon animations. Dokkan are bringing new ones. How is Cell? Cell! They got a new summon animation for Cell? Cell, come on, bruh. And Legends ain't getting nothing. We need to learn from them. We need to adapt. They are doing better. The second thing I really like about Dokkan Battle, and this might just be a personal experience, maybe depending on who you are, you don't really see it that way, but I find that Dokkan Battle is 100 times more generous when it comes to their in-game currency, the Dragon Stones, in comparison to how Legends are with their Chrono Crystals. I logged in for 3 years and did not play any events subpar the story, and I was able to get every single character, Fusion Warrior, that I wanted. If you guys watched me play Dokkan Battle this year, you guys will know that I had a good base account. I had characters that if you easy A them, it's good enough. And that was because I just logged in on the anniversary after just logging in daily, opening my gift box, getting the Dragon Stones and closing the game. I did that for 3 years straight. And when it's the big celebrations, WWDC, anniversary, whatever you guys have, I will just log in and summon. And that was my enjoyment for Dokkan Battle. But the simple fact that I can do that without actually playing the game means that they are insanely generous. If I did that for 5 years in Legends, hey, I might get past 3 rotations if I'm lucky. That's maybe a stretch, but you guys see the point. Dokkan Battle, you guys are amazing when it comes to giving out Dragon Stones. If Dragon Ball Legends could take 1% of that and apply that to their game, giving their fan base, their player base, a lot more Chrono Crystals, especially with the value of characters in a PvP game. Dokkan Battle being a PvE game, they don't need every single character. They need certain characters for events to clear them, but those events are not even mandatory. But to play PvP at a decent level, you need the new characters in a lot of cases, especially if the new characters are good. The skill diff, no. The money diff is crazy. Even right now, fighting the Dragon Ball Diamond team, they got infinite health. It's not easy. It is not easy. And because of that, hey man, I need some more CC. Work it out. Work it out. Let me add to that, the CC cap makes it even harder. So just in general, the whole operation of Chrono Crystals is not great. It needs to be upgraded. Learn from Dokkan Battle. One thing in Dokkan Battle I really appreciate is the small details that they put into units. Those battle motions are crazy. Now, obviously, we can't expect battle motions in Dragon Ball Legends. At least in some way, shape, or form, it's not what I'm expecting. It is possible, but that's not what I'm looking for here. Really, because of how they have battle motions, I'm looking for more creativity with certain things. I'm talking simple stuff like strike art animations. They need to be unique, a lot more unique. Blast arts animations, we've got a lot of ultras with the same animation. The highest tier characters in the game, there's not even over 40, right? You giving them the same blast arts animation, that's not okay. That's not okay. But you've got characters in Dokkan Battle, as soon as they hit the battlefield, they're doing new stuff. Come on, man. I thought we're meant to be building up off of what they've already got. There's no reason to be moving slow. These are things that we could have already had. I really feel like the game feels bland when you get a new unit and it feels like an old unit. Subpar the kit just because they are a new unit, so they have to keep up with the meta times. But then you just get the Ultra Ink art, maybe the Legend Limited art or whatever it is. The LF is going to be different, but then a lot of it feels really plain Jane, and that's not great. Those battle motions that Dokkan have been implementing are magnificent. And I'm not saying they can't fumble animations. It's not specifically about the animations themselves. It's about the effort. And when you have small things like that where they're not changing a lot, you can really tell they're just lazing over, not really caring about it that much, but just giving us something new because they probably have deadlines. Now, I know it's not easy, and I also know that they put in a lot of work in general, but you can really tell when they don't put in any work at all. And that happens in a lot of cases, some more than others, and both games probably go through that. But seeing these battle motions in Dokkan Battle, I can only hope for high level quality stuff in Dragon Ball Legends 2, especially because of the basis of the models. I just want them to do more with whatever they already have. So naturally, I think they could do more animations wise, especially because Dokkan Battle have been doing more animations wise. Let's talk about what Dokkan Battle is known and does well. Its PvE factor. It is not a PvP game. There is no PvP. You do not fight players, even though the game does require internet connection. That's probably just because of the service. You don't fight other players, so their PvE, it has to be good. If it's not good and the system, the way it works, isn't good, there's nothing to the game but animations. And I feel because of the way the game is, the PvE works and guys enjoy it. There's a reason it does well every single year. The PvE with the characters, you use them in ways that you can get to the final part of a battle and win through endurance, understanding kits, putting people in at certain points. There are RNG factors involved, but that's what comes with a PvE game. I feel like Legends being a PvP game, mainly where you fight other players, its PvE aspects are very lackluster. And at the start you could say they were alright, but they've really become lazy with what they've decided to implement PvE wise. They have tried a few things and they did fix a few of the bots and whatnot. For example, with the God Challenge, they actually made the bots there a lot more challenging, but they're still quite systematic where you can understand them. I do also understand it's not easy to create bots that won't work in a way where they're so predictable naturally, but in terms of its gameplay or how they're going about it, I feel like there's some creative things they could implement. And I'll give you some ideas right now if there are any devs watching. I'm sure we're all aware Dragon Ball Legends has insane potential. Naturally, just look at it. They can easily implement more stuff. And I feel like with the PvE enemies, they could make them have a whole different system. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, you know the typical 3v3? Well, what if the enemy had 5? That alone would make it more difficult because they could cover change at higher rates to protect each other. And that means you'd have to be a lot more persistent in trying to clear things. You could also lower the timer counts when doing that. On top of the fact they've already made it a lot more difficult, it makes it so that if you are fighting an enemy in PvE events, you're actually trying. You actually have to try to clear it. Now, if you're going to do that, it also needs to feel rewarding. So the rewards you give out also need to be more. And that alone will increase the bar of difficulty, but the bots don't have to actually be insane. I don't want to be fighting Ultra Vegito Blue who's going to remove my Vanish instantly. I don't want to fight Gold Frieza. But I'm saying if it was 5 Cybermen versus 3 and they could just cover change more frequently like that, that alone would change the environment that PvE has, and it will make it feel like this is a lot more difficult and we have to be a lot more persistent, especially if there's a timer. You can't just laze around and sit back, and that is amazing. Of course, as long as it's rewarding, people will play it. If it's not rewarding, then it will feel like a chore, and that's also something the devs have to work on if they're going to actually make PvE better. Let me also add that they could implement specific mechanics specifically for the enemy bots. So how they implement mechanics in people's kits for us to summon on, there are some characters that are specifically PvE tailored. For example, Giblet in Super Saiyan God, Chalet, I only say that because of my British accent. They can give them mechanics that we'll only see in events. As long as they're not doing that too frequently, it will make us feel like these PvE mechanics are better than the PvP ones. But if there are some few, maybe 3 or 5, that are specifically tailored to PvE bots, similar to how they have the dark type, it would make it a lot more thrilling. You don't know what enemy type you're going to come up against if they cycle it as well every time they drop a different event. There's a lot of potential here. They've got ideas, they're just not using them. For what reason, I don't know, but the PvE in Dragon Ball Legends, I feel it really needs an improvement. The last one I've got for the video is the gacha system. Dokkan Battle and Dragon Ball Legends are both gacha games, naturally, but the Dokkan Battle gacha system is just so clear. Again, it's part of the generosity, how I mentioned Dragonstones earlier, but when it comes to summoning in general, you're summoning for these LRs, and LRs are pretty much equivalent to Ultras, and for Ultras we have these tickets when you summon, and you go to that crappy exchange shop where you can only get really old Legends Limited. They just don't update them frequently enough, so even if you get shafted on Ultra Banner, there's no guarantee, no pity system. But at least in Dokkan Battle on Ultra Banners, there's a guarantee. Ultra Banners, I mean the LRs, because I just said they're pretty much equivalent based on the rates. If I was to summon on an Ultra Banner and it could carry over from different banners too, and I feel like I could guarantee things, that would make me feel a lot safer. But maybe because of the revenue, you know, Dokkan Battle earns a lot more than Legends. They're not in the position to do that yet. Maybe that's why Dokkan Battle is a lot more generous. I presume it wasn't always like that. But if Dokkan Battle give Legends that idea and Legends could implement that, I think the happiness in the player base will skyrocket a million times. Will their pockets get more full? I doubt it. But at the same time, people will be more willing to summon. So we could see some positivity. I'm really just talking from a want perspective, not really deep diving into the logistics of it. But generally speaking, I don't feel anybody would disagree with us wanting a pity system for Ultra Banners. The fact that we don't have one is quite insane. So you just have to summon, you could go 100k deep. It's not meant to work like that, but it can happen, and I know a lot of people that it's happened to. So yeah, Ultra Banners need a fix more than anything else. That gacha system needs to be corrected, not just because it's expensive, but it's generally unfair. I could potentially do another video of things that I think Legends could learn from Dokkan Battle, but I feel like just off playing Dokkan Battle for the first time seriously this year, this video was necessary. A lot of you guys didn't actually care about Dokkan Battle until I started playing it, or maybe another content creator, or maybe you just watched me play it or somebody else play it. And seeing it, you might be like, hey, this looks a lot more interesting than I first perceived it to be. So getting both perspectives, it's just something that can widen your whole perspective on gacha games, specifically these two Dragon Ball ones. There's things both games could learn from each other, but they both have their differences. That's their selling points more than anything else. But I gotta root for the game I like more. That's not downsizing Dokkan Battle. It's just my personal preference. Dokkan Battle, of course, being a very great game. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.